So in my last video, I was talking about why the Iron Dome is so good at intercepting rockets, and I got a lot of comments telling me that I didn't explain how it works. So this video is going to be about how the Iron Dome actually intercepts the rockets. I'm making this video because the topic is too broad to make one good video about all the reasons why the Iron Dome is so successful. I need to narrow it down. So instead of explaining the whole system, I will explain one part of the Iron Dome that is very interesting, which is how the Iron Dome decides where to fire the rocket that will intercept the incoming rocket. Now, to understand how the Iron Dome does this, we need to look at some background information. You see, there are two main ways to know where something is. One is to have someone go and look for it. This is called an active search or a targeted search. The other method is to let the thing being looked for reveal its presence. This is called a passive search or an untargeted search, and sometimes you do both. In the case of the Iron Dome, they use both methods. The targeted search is done by the surveillance radar. The surveillance radar is constantly looking for rockets and missiles being launched from the surrounding area. It can tell when a rocket takes off, and it can roughly tell where it's heading, but it doesn't know exactly where it will land. That's because rockets and missiles don't travel in a straight line. They follow a curved path called a trajectory. This curve can be hard to predict because it depends on many things like the weight of the rocket, the fuel, the speed, and the aerodynamics. To get more information about the trajectory, the Iron Dome uses another radar called a tracking radar. The tracking radar doesn't just look for rockets, it also tracks them. Tracking means following something over time to see how it moves. So the tracking radar follows the rocket as it travels through the air. That gives the Iron Dome system information about the rocket's trajectory. With this information, the Iron Dome can calculate where the rocket will land. But that's not the end of the story. There's still one more step. After the Iron Dome calculates where the rocket will land, it needs to decide whether or not to intercept. That decision is made by a special computer called the Battle Management and Control System. This system takes into account many things such as the threat level of the incoming rocket, the location of civilians, and the status of the Iron Dome's own forces. Once the system decides to intercept, it sends the information to the interceptor's rocket. The rocket then fires and tries to hit the incoming rocket before it hits the ground. Now, if you want to learn more about this process, I recommend that you read a book called The Iron Dome, a high-altitude battle for air superiority during the 2014 Gaza war by a guy named Caleb Weiss. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. So now let us talk about how the Iron Dome's background information helps us understand this process better. First, understanding the topic helps to contextualize and refine your subject. In this case, knowing about the Iron Dome system, its purpose, and its history helps to focus your research on one particular aspect, which is how the Iron Dome intercepts rockets. Second, using diverse sources such as handbooks and databases helps to gather comprehensive insights on the topic. Reading about the Iron Dome system from different perspectives allows you to compare and contrast various accounts and Third, identifying key concepts such as surveillance radars, tracking radars, and battle management and control systems helps to break down complex topics into more manageable chunks. Defining these terms in your own words helps to avoid confusion and ensures that you fully understand them before moving on to more complex ideas. Fourth, frame arguments. Background information provides context for different perspectives in a debate or discussion. In this case, understanding the history and purpose of the Iron Dome helps to frame the debate around its effectiveness as an interception system. Fifth, background knowledge guides the direction of your research. By starting with a broad overview of the topic, you can gradually narrow down your focus and develop more specific research questions. This approach helps to ensure that your research is both comprehensive and in-depth. If you want to learn more about the Iron Dome, I recommend that you watch a video called How the Iron Dome Works. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. Thank you for watching.